your old-fashioned recipes and your gardening needs while sipping on Kentucky bourbon. You sit right back in your big red hat, we're taking rural back from the urban. Listen to the stories where Kentucky is proud, share the giggles with all of your friends. You're all tuned in to Friends Drifting.
Hi, I'm Joyce. Welcome to the 5th episode of Friends Drift In, your connection to the farm-to-table movement in Eastern Kentucky. Today I'm really excited. It's July. The honeysuckle are blooming. The mint is cooling us off in this sweltering heat. But I'm here to tell you that we're ready for some big hospitality at Friends Drift In. I first met our guest today, Chef Jeremy Ashby, almost a year ago. He is the executive chef of Azure Restaurant and Patio in Lexington, Kentucky. He's the co-host of Sunny Side Up Radio, which is aired on Saturdays at 11 o'clock. You can catch that on the internet. He talks about farm-to-table movement. He talks about local food issues, and he advocates Kentucky Proud and Kentucky agriculture. Well, today we're talking about food. Good food, what we're always talking about, and I'm going to let Ashby cook something up.
Well, I'm here to cook and here to have a lot of fun, and thank you very, very much for having me. This is a great opportunity, and I love the drive down here. It was very, very scenic, and, it took a little while to get here, but, I'm used to it. I got to see a little bit of Kentucky that I'm, not as familiar with. I see a lot of food coming from this area, a lot of very, very wonderful things, and I'm here to, do a little cooking with you guys. I'd like to do some frog legs, which...
Frog legs.
I call them jumpers.
Jeremy's
That's right.
jumpers.
That's right, Jeremy's jumpers. And then fried green tomatoes. We're going to stack that with the little country ham and cream cheese that are whipped together. Really salty, creamy, gooey, yummy. Fried green tomatoes are just...
You're just singing my song.
Yeah. Fried green tomatoes are just, comfort food. Frog legs are something that I think, is really prominent in the American South. And if it's not, it's in France. So it's something that's not usually done. I'd like to kind of go through how that process works. It's kind of like frying chicken.
It is.
But fun. It's a little bit more different.
Well, now, here in Appalachia, go ahead. Here in Appalachia, we are very much a part of frog gigging, very much a part of our culture in a hot July afternoon. Mm-hmm. Be aware that you have to have a license to frog gig. There is a limit of 12 frogs per day.
I think we broke that.
Frog legs are available locally at our grocery store, $7.99 a pound. So it pays to go out and go gigging.
That sounds like it would, actually. That's $7.99 a pound. It'd take me a lot of money to fill up on frog legs. But anyway, I like this sauce that we're going to do. It's called, it's just a peach chutney. Now, usually peach chutneys are a thick mixture, a little bit darker preserve that we use a lot in the South.
Right.
Came from
peach
India.
Season.
But the one I like to do is a little bit saucier, lighter in color, because we're going to use peaches that are just about ripe, not quite. They're a little bit firm, as you can see. Don't have quite the give.
These are like a South Carolina white peach.
Mm-hmm. And what happens is, if you have a little firmer peach through the cooking process, you end up with a peach that's not just mush or jam.
Right.
You've got a little texture, a little bit of color. It makes for a great plate presentation. Plus, you get that one bite of peach that's just bam, right in your mouth. Right. So the first thing we got to do is make some chutney. I like to start with a little bit of red onion, and not very much. Just a simple little dice. I like to go from the side, just make a few little swipes on up, and then a little bit this way as well. And you don't have to worry about nice knife cuts. A little bit of chunk is good. It gives light textures to your dish. So a little red onion.
Red onion gives it a little bit of bite.
Oh, it certainly does. It's just a little bit more interesting than a white onion, even though I love white onions. But adds great color, a little bit firmer, stronger flavor. So a little onion into your pan. And the next thing that I like to use in this dish is ginger. Now, speaking of, say, Indian cuisine and classic chutneys, ginger is kind of commonplace.
We've been talking about ginger on the show several times. I think it's a really nice peppery taste.
Right.
It's easily, you can get it at the grocery store. It's not hard to find. They keep it down in a bin underneath most of the produce. But if you ask the produce people, they can tell you where it is.
Yeah, and it lasts a long time, too. It doesn't take too much to go around the block, so to speak.
You can throw a little sand on it in a pot and it'll sprout.
Cool. I didn't know that. Well, I like to square it off a little bit. Another way to actually peel the ginger is to use a spoon. And this actually has a little bit better yield if you just scrape it on the side. you know, for today, we're just going to wing it and crash right through this. So square it off a little bit. We'll go back and use these for tea, which maybe we could, talk about a little bit later.
We've got some ginger tea coming up with some honeysuckle that we did with the sweet syrup, simple syrup. Charlie and I were out picking honeysuckle for Chef Jeremy Ashby last night at 8 o'clock up on Ford Mountain.
I will put you to work.
If you saw us, I was not doing anything illegal. I was picking honeysuckle.
We like to put you to work. We have to have the freshest stuff, right? So
Absolutely.
Come right in from the garden. So dice your ginger, a little julienne, then a small dice is fine. If you want, you can use a grater too, like a cheese grater. That does a nice job with your ginger. So a little ginger, a little onion in the pan, ready to go. Then peaches, that's the main ingredient, right? And if you want to peel a peach, you could do a little, what we call a Mondaire concassé, and
what?
At the top. It's a little French term.
Say it again.
Mondaire concassé. You just do a little X cut on the top and then drop it in boiling water. And then, shock it in cold water. And then
that's what you do when you're canning. That's how you get the peel off. I got you now.
So we're gonna skip that part because I don't know. There's something about some peach skin. I'm really big on bold flavors and textures. I think it adds a lot to it.
It does.
We'll use about 2 peaches. You guys can use more depending on if you want to have some left over. We're just gonna bust out enough for this recipe. So and we're talking about just kind of rough cuts here, nothing too small. Want those big chunks of peaches in there? So just a little small julienne. Actually, it's not really a julienne, but just a nice little cut. We'll get these all into the pot. You notice how easy this is. We're just throwing stuff in there. I don't even have it on the stove yet, so you can do all this ahead of time, or just do it like I am. We're doing it right on camera.
You just swing right through there.
Well, it takes a little bit of work.
Now, I cannot work with the pepper without putting gloves on my hands. They burn me up. What kind of pepper are you using?
Well, this is more like a Thai pepper. It's close to a shishito. It's a little bit spicy. It's actually a breed of Serrano. You ever heard of Serrano pepper?
Serranos we can get here at the store, and sometimes we can get jalapenos.
Jalapeno
work.
I like jalapenos a lot. This one's got a little bit more of a bite to it. Jalapenos work great. Seeding, it's easy. Just kind of roll the pepper back and do a nice little slice. And you want to get rid of those puppies because they will light it up.
Yes, they will.
So once again, rough little chop and into your little pot. Now, for color, you can use a little bit of red pepper. And then, this adds great flavor as well,
Always fresh peppers. Fresh peppers, California Wonders are my favorite. They're about to come on. They've been setting this week. I was out checking the garden, and I should have California Wonders in about, another 8 to 10 days. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, I can't wait to try some. Anyway, a little bit of pepper. This is kind of filling up nicely. Lots of good colors here, too. You can tell there's going to be a lot of flavors. Now, don't measure this. Just get in there and do it. A little bit of apple cider vinegar. I don't know, a couple tablespoons is really all you need. You don't want much liquid because the liquid comes from the peaches. So I didn't even use all of that, just a little. And then white sugar, equal parts white sugar.
Pure cane sugar. We're very much about pure cane sugar and not beet sugar. Always look for the pure cane label.
Well, that sounds good to me. So white sugar along with equal parts brown sugar. And the brown sugar adds a nice amber, helps the recipe kind of come together a little bit quicker. So
Would
the
sorghum
peaches
have been too heavy for this, you think?
Oh, not in terms of flavor and eating. Just for presentation, though, it would make it really dark. And I like those bright vibrant colors. Yeah. So this goes on the pot, and we're going to let it boil down for probably 20 to 30 minutes before it's ready to plate. After that, you can reserve it, or we'll use it for our dish. So we'll stick that on back here. Okay. Next up, we'll kind of clean our area and talk a little bit about the country ham whipped cream cheese, which this is something I've been using for a while. It's kind of like one of those things I used to see on the table a lot for party dips.
Right.
Cheese balls and whatnot. And there's just nothing like green tomatoes and cream
country
cheese.
ham. When we talk about country ham, we're talking salty.
Yeah.
So, how does that work, Jeremy? You're starting to do some of your own.
Yeah.
Your own curing. We've been watching you build your coffin boxes.
12 hams sitting in an attic right now, and they are salty. We took 1,200 pounds of salt and sugar and pepper and built a coffin box and let those cure for about 6 weeks. then pulled them out and resalted them and hung them. And it's a great process. This is your pretty typical salty country ham. Got to try it out here. Tell me if you approve, because down here this is real country ham territory.
Well,
I think it does a good job.
I like it fried with a little crust on the end, but other than that, it's pretty good.
Pretty tasty, huh? So rough chop this. The mixer's going to do the rest of the work for us. Not a big deal. Run your knife through it a couple times. I like to use a lot of it for this recipe.
How fluid your wrist is.
Now, we can talk about that too. When in terms of the knives and knife technique, I like to imagine this is like that bar that holds train wheels together. And when your train starts moving, it's like chug it, 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 and then it starts moving this way. And if
that is cool. I never really thought about it, but yeah, that
imagine
that might help me. And my knife skills are atrocious.
Lift the back, pull the tip backwards, and then push down. So if you can get that motion in your head and just keep working it, in like 2 weeks, you're going to be flying through stuff.
Chug it, chug it, chug it. I think I can.
Little engine that could. That's how I was in culinary school. Just a little engine. Like, Jeremy, we taught you how to do this so many times, and you mess it up.
How much ham we got there? What, a couple?
This is probably this is probably a cup and a half or so. Have fun with it. But the biggest thing is we're going to go and just put this into the bowl of the mixer. And there's really nothing special about this, right in the bowl of the mixer with the cream cheese.
And we've softened that up before y'all got here.
Yeah, if you get out of the fridge for a little bit, that's fine. It just the mixer will do a lot of the work for you, though.
Right.
If you want to beat it by hand, I suggest getting it room temperature for a little while. So big glob of cream cheese.
Big chunk.
Then we'll go right into this mixer back here. Always put the lock on. So country ham, along with the cream cheese, into the bowl of the mixer. Make sure you put the lock on. Start it on slow at first. And we'll just kind of come back to it as it starts to whip up. It'll get a little air in it too, makes it lighter and fluffier.
All right.
So next up, it's green tomato time. Maters.
Green tomatoes.
Maters.
White Wonders is the official green tomato that I'm growing this year. What, do you have a particular variety that you like?
Not in particular. We don't get too many descriptions on the varieties. We just ask for green tomatoes. That's what comes in. But these look like they'll do for us. I mean, front of the skillet. Well, we'll call them white
Wonders. White Wonders.
So the thing about green tomatoes is you don't want to go too thin and you don't want to go too thick. They got to be the right texture. They got to hold up in the skillet long enough to where when you're frying the green tomato, it actually lets some of that natural sugar comes out.
Right.
And that kind of makes it a little bit sweet on the undertone. So I like going for about that size. What do you think that is?
I don't know. Real pretty. Not much of the mucus sac there is not too big, so they'll stay crisp.
Right. You use most of it. These little ends don't bother me. You can take them out if you want to. We'll do one more tomato worth. Now, every chef has, a few little secrets, right?
Right.
And I
guess...
Do
you have secrets?
One or two. That's a different episode. So, one thing I like to do with these green tomatoes is make a little spice mixture for when they come out of the skillet.
Sure.
And what it is a little equal parts mixture of just black pepper.
Black pepper.
White sugar.
Okay.
Equal parts.
All right. Pure cane sugar.
And then salt. That was salt. This is the sugar, right? And then also cumin. So.
Yeah.
Little mix up there. You can smell how fragrant it is.
Oh man, yeah, it gives it almost that chili pepper, chili powder taste.
That's good stuff. And then egg wash is what you need, really, for...
Everybody knows egg wash down here. We egg wash everything.
Right. So we'll bring that over here and make some. Couple eggs, a little bit of milk.
Now on your chef tips, on your Sunny Side Up website, you have what they call chef tips.
Yes.
And you talk about cracking the egg.
That's a great tip. I want to talk about it. Everybody makes the mistake of cracking it on the side of your skillet and into the skillet or into whatever you're doing. Bad idea. What happens is if you poke it on the side, it puts those little shards into the egg, and you got to sit around and pick them out, right? That's no fun. So go to a flat surface, and if you notice, every time it just comes out clean. So flat surfaces for breaking eggs. We'll do it. Nice, huh?
There you go.
Anyway, that with a little bit of milk and a little fork will take care of it. Just lightly whip it.
Just skin the old egg, just like you were making scrambled eggs.
Oh, yeah.
No big
Whip them
deal.
up, no big deal at all. Drop that over here. And now we're ready to kind of fry a little bit.
You've had your skillets going, so they're already hot.
they're already hot.
Now this is a big gag going on Friends Drift In. How do you tell if the skillet is hot enough?
Well, what I do is just sprinkle a little flour in there and see.
Oh, no, I'm not doing the flour thing. So,
Yeah. So if you just drop it in there, you can kind of see if it's sizzling, which is just starting to sizzle. We're going to go ahead and turn up our heat just a little bit because we want to get it a little scald. That's the wrong one.
There you go.
Yeah. Let that warm up for a second.
All
And then we got to talk about flour.
Flour is essential. What flour are you using today?
I can't tell you what's in this.
Oh, is it
No,
a
this is-
secret, Ashby?
Anyway, salt, pepper, flour, a few little...
Did you use a all-purpose or did you use a self-rising?
This is an all-purpose.
Okay.
11, 12 herbs and seasonings, kind of like
Secret
somebody else we know.
yeah.
But at that point...
Kentucky Fried, huh?
That's right. It's real easy
Now,
at this point,
Are
tomatoes.
you going to put it in there first or are you going to put it in the egg wash
I'm just
first?
gonna
This is a
do-
big controversy in culinary world.
Oh, really?
It is.
Well, if you go egg wash first, then flour, they're a little bit softer.
Yeah.
If you want to get a double breading on them, flour, and then egg wash, and then back in the flour. I kind of like a little bit more texture, but, that's just me. It's, controversy is something I welcome, so that's good.
Now, I usually put a little bit of cornmeal.
Cornmeal is a great thing. Now, if I was going to use cornmeal myself, I'd do flour, egg wash, then the cornmeal.
Yeah, at the last.
And I would put that spice mixture into the cornmeal. And that really
yeah.
that brings it out. So one hand was kind of dry, the other hand's a little bit
Right.
or wet, so to speak. So we'll roll these guys in there, keeping the other hand dry. Just kind of do 3 of them, I think, should do for
Sure.
our purposes.
You're not very hungry, huh?
We got a whole lot more cooking to do today, right?
Right.
Good deal. Then we'll go right into the skillet, which I hope is
Oh,
sizzling. It is. So
There you go.
always put your product away from you when you drop it down. That way the
Am I
splash
hearing a
doesn't get to
sizzle?
you. It's got a little sizzle to
All
it.
right. I
would
like
go-
to hear
I would-
that sizzle. That's part of the Friends Drift In thing. If I'm not sizzling, it's not good.
There you go. I think you're right. If it had a little bit hotter, a nice sear or
Uh-huh.
scald.
Mm-hmm.
I like just using a fork. Some people like tongs. I like using utensils like forks and spoons because they're more delicate on the food.
Well, I
A lot
guess
of-
so.
Yeah, a lot of times when you go in there with a tong with a piece of fish or a green tomato that has a light crust, it'll fall off. So just kind of, get in there and also force you to slow down. Like when you're cooking at home, you get to slow down and really get, in the skillet with
what
your
you're
food.
doing.
See, it's a perfect little brown there. I love that little brown. Go right in there. That one could use a little bit more. This one looks good. And chef's got to make a mess, right?
It's part of living, brother.
Part of living. So we'll just kind of let these finish up.
All right.
In the meantime, we can see
Chutney's
our chutney
looking
back
good.
here is looking nice. You see the chunks are still in there. The
Can we
aroma's
see?
good.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about jumpers.
Jumpers. Here we go. Jeremy and his frogs. And oh, I'm going to go off camera.
I think that takes us over our quota.
Oh, no. Rhoda brought these specifically for you. Our good
Nice.
friend Rhoda Anderson. She'll be here a little later. She said Jeremy had to have some frogs on set. So
Too
there
cool.
we go.
Too cool. But you be quiet. We're trying to cook.
What are we going to do?
So frog legs, I've got them right here. Got a nice plate of jumpers, so to speak. These guys, they usually come in like a little bundle.
They're
Do a
kind of
little,
scary looking, Jeremy.
do a little dance with them. You're into ballroom dancing, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
There we go. So
1, 2, 3, 4.
frog legs, they look kind of tendinous and fibrous, but the second you start cooking them, they really tenderize. So it doesn't take long in the skillet. This is the same process that we do the green tomatoes in.
So we'll egg wash it.
We'll do a
And-
little egg wash, and then on in there. And I like a lighter coating on the frog legs because they're just
Okay.
so tender. So we'll just go egg wash flour this time.
Now, if you were doing fried chicken, would you do that the same way?
Egg washed in flour?
Uh-huh.
Well, see, that's where I think it gets more controversial than green tomato. And all right, if I'm going to do a skillet fry in a black cast iron skillet, which really is the only way,
Right.
I would probably just go for the flour, egg wash, then flour.
Okay.
Because just when you cook in a skillet, it's more tender and juicy.
Sure.
So when I go into like a deep fryer for fried chicken, I just do egg wash then flour. It tends like all the extra breading in a deep fryer,
Right.
kind of burns up and gets a little
Sure.
bitter.
Hope
that makes
good
sense. Yeah.
That makes good sense. Now, you are king of Kentucky seafood.
Mm.
Do we consider frogs seafood? Is that
Well,
part of the when you're doing your competition?
I would argue that it's not, but I wouldn't be scared to go into a competition with some frog legs.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we're talking about aquaculture. If they're raised frog legs, you're just talking about
Aquaculture, y'all. When we're talking aquaculture, we're talking going down to the Pay Lake. That is aquaculture in Pike County. Okay.
That's good. Let's take a look at our tomatoes.
All right.
Because I think they're getting good and brown now. We'll go back to the other side for a little extra. Maybe give them one more minute. They're starting to caramelize and get soft in the center too. Green tomatoes are usually hard.
When we talk about caramelize, we're talking about developing the sugars and
Yeah.
developing a little bit of that taste that's so summer.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of you, caramelized and nice and sweet too.
You're delusional.
So frog legs we're going to treat the same way. Sprinkle into the skillet this way. Got a little bit of a bubbling going on. So we'll raise the heat. Then lightly drop them in there for a light, shallow fry. I love these things. They are fun.
I'm listening for the sizzle. Now, are they going to jump and twitch and twitch around?
They will pop. They tend to hold a lot of water, so be careful of that. If you guys have a little guard, put on your skillet, that's
Right.
a good idea. We always got to talk about safety in the kitchen, especially when you're with me.
Are we
Anything
done
can
with the
happen.
flour?
We are done with
Let
the
me
flour.
take it out of your
Thank
way.
you very, very much. So green tomatoes are ready to come out of the skillet, and we'll put them on our little tray here to just kind of soak up a little extra grease. But the important part is right when they come out of the skillet, we got to use a little spice mixture.
Alrighty. Now that was the cumin and salt and sugar.
And black pepper.
And it smells so good, Jeremy.
Now we call it escabeche, which is, a fun little term. but-
Escabeche.
Escabeche. Now let's add the mysterious spice mixture, the chef tip of the day.
Right.
The escabeche right on top of those green tomatoes.
Now it sounds really fancy, but that was just easy. That was cumin and salt and sugar
Black pepper.
and black pepper. So
Really good stuff. You know what I also saw is you brought in some onion from the garden.
I did.
Nice spring onion. I'm going to grab one of those because I think this would be fantastic in the country ham cream cheese.
Onions are always one
Good
of the
idea.
first things that come up here in Appalachia. It's something we do, what we call killed lettuce, where we're doing, and some people say kilch lettuce, but it's where the green onions, and we just kind of put them over with a little bacon grease over some salad greens, and it is
Come on,
awesome.
man.
It tastes like spring.
So we're doing that recipe next, right? So
I don't know how long the folks at home will stay with us.
little julienne on down the line with this. Some people don't really know what to do with some of the tops. This is a great way to utilize them. Some people just go for these little bulbous onion
Right,
parts.
right.
Just
Oh
depends on
no,
your
you
thing.
can't waste. You can't waste them. I mean,
Right.
you wait so long when you plant them. You wait so long for them to come along. You want to use every little bit.
It's the first sign of what's to come when you see these guys pop up. So if it gets a little bit big, you can cut it in half and then go back down.
And we think we can. We think we can. We think
Yeah,
we can.
chug it. That's right. Don't worry, I was Thomas the Tank when I first started doing it. Now I get to be the steam engine, right? So remember we had that country ham and cream cheese going back there.
Right.
And we're just going to add this to that mixture. It's still whipping back there. You can hear it rolling. This will add a little color. And I can't wait to crunch into that freshly cut, nice onion.
I'm excited. A little bit of ketchup.
Okay, let's see. Let me go from this angle. Now, most smart people would turn off the mixer when they add stuff to it, but not me. Back to the jumpers, right?
All right, we're back to the jumpers.
Now these, Joyce, I want a little lighter coating on
Right.
than the green tomato because I like that. It's almost like that soft little pull you get when you just bite into it. It's juicy, and that's what we want here. Is that soft little coating. So if you turn them over, they're just now getting a little bit brown. And I'm using the fork too, really getting in there with it. You know, if they start breaking apart, that's okay. You're gonna eat them anyway. So just flip them lightly. Man, these are soft. Love this.
Did you take this off?
I pulled it off just for a
Okay.
second so we didn't get carried away with it.
Hear that sizzle.
Yeah, we're moving now. These things are jumping all over the place. We'll let those kind of finish up back there. Chutney's about where we want it.
Okay.
If you notice, you still have these nice big chunks of peach.
peaches,
And that
yeah.
like little glazy you can just kind of wipe on the plate. It'll burn your nose with a little bit of vinegar, but it's
No, I like that acidic
It's
where,
nice,
I
yeah.
like canning and pickling. I like, oh yeah.
it's going to be delicious. And while the jumpers are going, we'll go ahead and stop our cream cheese and get that ready to plate.
Ooey gooey mess.
That's what we want. Ooey gooey mess.
Ooey and gooey always precedes yummy yummy.
I can understand any of that language. So, once again, here you've got the nice whipped kind of cream. See all the big chunks of country ham?
Right.
And that onion adds a
And
little bit of color.
green, yeah, and a little bit of bite.
Can't wait to try that out.
There's contrast.
So we're going to act like we're going to kind of plate up here.
Okay.
And then we can put the jumpers on last minute. They
All
just
right.
jump on the plate. And then,
You want a big plate or a little plate?
I'll let you choose. Let's do
Whatever.
a big plate.
All right. Here we go.
Right.
Feed me, Ashby.
So plating is the fun part, right?
Right.
It's where you get to kind of use your canvas and make your art. That's the part I like the most. So a little bib adds a little nice.
Bib lettuce has a very big history here in Kentucky.
Really? What is that?
It was originally made by a guy named Mr. Bibb in Frankfurt. You did not know this?
No.
Indeed. That's why that it's so popular at Kentucky Derby, is because it was made, in fact, the specific Bibb lettuce breed was about, half a mile from where the old Capitol building is.
It's a great history. I can't wait to tell that story.
Oh, do that again.
What's that? The little
Well,
spoon?
you're fancy with your
the-
spoons.
Okay, well, gosh, my culinary school teachers would just shoot me right now, but we had what's something called a three-sided football or a quenelle, and you kind of roll it off the spoons and
We'll go with three-sided football.
yeah, three-sided football. And it makes a nice little, dollop. That
Are
you
we
can
going to
do.
put another one on
Yeah.
top?
How about you put that one right on top of this one, and I'll top it. Starting to look good, huh?
It always looks good.
Yep.
If Jeremy Ashby is in the house, it's good cooking.
Yep.
Good
I
hospitality.
am in this barn, and I'm not leaving either. So one more on top, and we got to garnish with just a little bit more of that cream cheese. Make sure every bite gets some, and then we could even play around with maybe some more little bits of the Bibb lettuce and make it kind of trail up and out. That's kind of fun.
Okay. Very
So-
pretty. You and your towers.
Yeah, I like height. It's fun.
I like height too, but I'm challenged.
Good stuff. Those little honeysuckle flowers might be nice too.
Yeah.
We using
And I've
that.
got mint back here in the back if you like mint. Mint is a sign of hospitality. And I'm glad you're here.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Maybe some honeysuckle here and there. I love the little sprigs and the way it kind of comes out like that. So now the dangerous part, getting the jumpers out of the skillet. They look good to me. This part might be messy, but we're going to attempt it. These guys are going right on there. Great little golden brown.
Very pretty.
And I love cast iron. I mean, this is the only way to do a shallow fry. Cast iron it's just some things that just,
You're cooking in my
Should not be
one of
changed.
my grandma's skillets, and that just makes it all the more special.
well, it's an honor. Whenever you use somebody else's skillet, it's almost like having them cook for you. You get a little taste of that person. And all, so we'll do a little jumpers kind of around. And we can make them, you know, crawl up the side of the dish too, if you like.
Oh, now, this is all up to you. You need some room there,
A
huh?
little creative here.
Oh, fancy.
Have a little fun.
Whenever you go to a zoo restaurant and patio in Lexington, you always have little creativity going on.
Little wild stuff. I'll take that one back. That one's for me. I get to have. You guys get to have this one.
Picky.
Yeah, I know. So now, we can finish with our chutney.
All right. Now that was peaches
Mm-hmm.
and a little pepper.
We have peaches, little red pepper in here. You have a spoon over there by chance?
I can get you one right here.
Thank you.
A spoon.
Perfect. So we've got nice fresh peaches that are just down to where they're this lovely little, you know, just big chunks and still glistening and kind of caramelized.
Oh, and they're so pretty. And they came out light, like you said. The color is very pretty.
Right, the texture's there, the color's there. I know the flavor's there. It's such an easy
Peaches are very
recipe.
reasonable right now.
Oh yeah, when they hop in season, they're ready to go.
So pretty.
Yeah, this is just good food here, and you want to get some of that good juice around the plate too. All right, then a couple little of these fun guys.
This is kind of your trademark, the little pea shoots.
Yeah, these are cool. Daikon sprouts or pea shoots. I just have the little bite and a little crunch right at the top. You know, some people don't appreciate it, some people do.
Yeah, it gives it a lot of color and a lot of fun, almost like confetti on the plate. And it's like a party. Right. And anytime I'm with you, it's always a party.
Well, it's been a party. And so here's some jumpers, some maters, some peach chutney, some country ham. All good stuff. All the stuff I like to eat.
All the stuff I like to eat, too. Let's pour up some sweet tea and finish this up.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Honeysuckle sweet tea, Jeremy Ashby.
How did you make this?
We went out and we picked the honeysuckle blossoms. We tried to get as many of the white blossoms as we could, but at this late in the season, sometimes you have to get the little buttery yellow ones too.
I just love having a hot woman bring me flowers.
It's just like going out and hiding out and picking these flowers. It's a lot of fun. Now you've got me off track. So what we did was we picked these. We made two cups of sugar and 1 cup of water, boiled it down into a simple syrup, just like you would for any sweetened tea. Now then this was set overnight, just in a mason jar. I used enough of the honeysuckle flowers. I crammed it in there like you would if you were making sauerkraut. Just as many honeysuckle flowers as I could get in there. Crammed it in there, let it set overnight. That helps the flavor to mellow.
That is cool.
And then I'm going to add a little bit of the syrup. Instead of using sugar, so we're using this honeysuckle syrup. You reckon that's enough, Mr. Ashby?
Keep going, keep going.
You're pushing your luck, brother.
That looks good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Now you see that I haven't strained this out. Some people strain this out. I got this recipe from Hot Fish in Birmingham. That's a lot of syrup. But you're sweet. It'll be all right.
We like it sweet in the South, right?
And then I just plain tea. Louisiana tea is one of my favorites. I think it has a clean, crisp taste. Nothing says summer like fresh brewed iced tea. It is the house wine of the South.
It is saying summer to me. It's beautiful.
There we go.
I love the jars. I love everything about it. Mint.
You know, I got to have a little bit of mint. Everything goes better with mint, I think. I love it when the mint tickles your nose.
Very nice.
So there we have it. Some tea. We're going to try these tomatoes, Ashby.
All right.
Cut in there, and can you get in there with a fork? Or are you going to need a knife?
Just go straight down and just destroy this dish, because I want you to have a little bit of tomato and a little bit of that cream cheese and ham. This is for you. What do you think about that?
Oh.
Does that work?
Can I keep you?
Well, you are just a peach. I got a little peach. Thanks for letting me cook with you. This has been a lot of fun.
We're closing out the 5th edition of FriendsDriftIn.com. You can go for recipes on my website. You can visit Jeremy on his website, Sunny Side Up. Listen to him on WLAP Saturday mornings at 11. Visit Acer Restaurant and Patio in Lexington. He'll show you a good time, great hospitality. And as we always say on Friends Drift In, share the giggles.
Share the giggles.